इन ग्राउंड्स पे आईसीजे में पाकिस्तान इस केस को ले जा सकता है? आपका बहुत एक्सपीरियंस रहा गुज़श्ता 20 बरस में आईसीजे के साथ, बल्कि इससे ज़्यादा, ग़ालिबन 25-30 बरस से। क्या समझते हैं कौन सी ग्राउंड्स ऐसे हैं जहाँ पे उठाए जा सकते हैं?
सबसे पहले अस्सलाम वालेकुम। इस सवाल का मैं इंग्लिश में जवाब दूंगा। आईसीजे जो है ना, दिस इज़ द मेन कोर्ट ऑफ द यूनाइटेड नेशंस। पाकिस्तान ने अभी एक्सपीरियंस किया है आईसीजे का यादव केस में, और कश्मीर के इशू के ऊपर ऐसे जा सकते हैं। कन्वेंशन है, द कन्वेंशन नेम इज़ द जेनोसाइड कन्वेंशन, जेनोसाइड कन्वेंशन ऑफ 1948। Pakistan and India are signatories, and a state that has committed genocide or is about to commit genocide or is failing to prevent genocide can be made the subject of legal proceedings before the ICJ. Now the issue is genocide. Genocide is a very serious crime. It's the most serious crime in international law, and essentially requires the destruction of a group of people based upon race or religion or some cultural affinity, and the destruction of the group of people at the hands of a state to engage state responsibility. I understand Pakistan has been considering this. I understand that a decision hasn't been made yet whether to go to the ICJ. There may be questions as to whether or not India accepts that the ICJ has jurisdiction, because
India has to accept that the ICJ has jurisdiction.
Whilst Pakistan and India have signed the convention, there are some reservations to jurisdiction that India has made, which India might seek to rely on. Whether it can,
इंडिया ये कह सकता है कि इस पर्टिकुलर इंस्टेंस में, जीनोसाइड के इशू में, हम इस केस में आईसीजे की जुरिस्डिक्शन को एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते।
एक जनरल रिजर्वेशन इंडिया ने की है, and that concerns Commonwealth states. So India may argue that because this is a claim brought by a Commonwealth state, the court doesn't have jurisdiction. I'm just speculating because
वो तो फिर कुलभूषण यादव के उसमें भी तो हमारा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ये बनता था शुरू में कि जी लेकिन हम एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते जुरिस्डिक्शन को टोटली तौर पे। आपने यही आर्ग्यू किया कि बिकॉज बायलैटरल एग्रीमेंट है इंडिया पाकिस्तान के दरमियान 2008 का, तो आईसीजे की वियना कन्वेंशन की नहीं बनती है जुरिस्डिक्शन। लेकिन इसको कहने के लिए भी, इस मुकदमे को पेश करने के लिए भी तो आपको आईसीजे के सामने ही जाना पड़ता है।
लेकिन एक बात मैंने आपकी करेक्ट करनी है, यादव केस में jurisdiction was clear. Pakistan signed the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations of 1963, plus something called the Additional Protocol, which expressly gave jurisdiction to the court. Expressly.
Right. Okay.
So there was no issue.
Like, what about the genocide?
In the genocide convention
case, jurisdiction.
They've both signed, but I'm just trying to identify possible arguments India may make on jurisdiction. So this is a possible argument they make, but the more fundamental argument is the high threshold, evidential threshold, that you have to establish to prove genocide. And that is extremely difficult, very difficult to prove genocide at the hands of a state.
लोग ये समझते हैं कि अगर आईसीजे नहीं तो यूनाइटेड नेशन जनरल असेंबली एक फोरम है जहां पर हिंदुस्तान को आप मजबूर कर सकते हैं कुछ ना कुछ करने के लिए। इज दिस पॉसिबल? यूएनजीए
the ICJ नहीं है। The ICJ, International Court of Justice, exists to determine disputes between states. When it issues a judgment, the judgment is enforced by the UN Security Council. The Security Council has 5 permanent members who can veto any action against another state. The enforcement mechanism of the Security Council is only available to the Security Council. The UN General Assembly has no force.
Right.
So whatever decision the UN General Assembly comes out with, it doesn't have any force.
It has a moral effect.
If that. And of course we mustn't forget that the United Nations is a political body, and political bodies are subject to political influence. And states that have resources and that are sophisticated can exercise more influence than states that are less sophisticated and have less resources.
So India can bring lot of influence UNGA के अंदर, जनरल असेंबली के अंदर हिंदुस्तान बड़ी लॉबिंग कर सकता है, बहुत influence जो है वो ला सकता है।
Within Pakistan, people see the situation very clearly, but internationally the situation is not so clear. So anybody who's looking at the situation, the relationship between India and Pakistan and what's going on in Kashmir, sitting elsewhere outside India, outside Pakistan, may have a different view.